still be going along the same premise, saying 2 to the 0, 2 to the 1, 2 squared, 2 cubed, so that this number would be going 1, 2, 4, 8, and we get a pattern where it's usually just doubling, multiplying by 2, whatever the base is, that is the unit in which we're multiplying by, going to the right. Of course, we know for ourselves that not all numbers are whole numbers. When we're dealing with them in our number system, we can get fractions, which are pieces of things. So we'll hear our children saying, we'll put a dot, and that comes if we look at our number line from my perspective here, left of the units, anything going left of the units would be fractions. So we put a decimal, a point after the units, and this would be tenth. So with everything you see with the TH on it, that means that it's a fraction. So it's 1 over 10, and then we'll be going hundredth, and it is UNDREDTH, okay? And you'll be getting your thousandth, okay? Everything with, and then going down with our numerator, 1 over 1,000, and it will be going in this direction. And that would be representing the fractional part of it, which I'm not getting into at this particular moment, and waiting for fractions to talk about that particular. Of it. So here we get our values then for our number. So I am sure, taking you back to our base 10, when you see the number 235, okay, we can think right away, and we can say you're going again from, I told you, from left to right, okay? So we know the first number would represent our units. The second would be our tens, and the third would be hundreds. So that is why you can hear people saying it is 230, because 3 tens, 3 times 10 would be 30, and the unit is 5. And that is where the name comes from. So that it is 235. And if we had to ask the child, they'd be saying 5 units, 3 groups of tens, and 2 hundreds, okay? That is how the place value works. So when they come home the next time with these things, and they're asking you to help them, so at home, you can be telling me, you can tell me the next time, 15, okay, what would be the place value for those numbers? And that is where we will be introducing and using what do we mean when we start talking about place value, all right? Sometimes then we take it a bit further and we give them, could be 2.35, okay? And they would notice that that number would be, and of course, this number would be called 2.35. I hear sometimes some people saying 2.35, there's no such number. All right, so this is called 35, and it means 3/10, 500th. All right, so that our students, if they were asked to do an expansion for that, would have been writing it's 2 and it's plus 3 over 10 plus 5 over 100. Okay, and that would be the number for them. So let's just recap every time. You know that we are dealing with the base 10. You know the units are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the base itself is represented by 1, 0. In our base 10, we call it 10. It is not specific or just particular for the base 10 unit. All the bases has 1, 0 as its formation and symbolic mathematical representation, as I showed you. If you're looking to, you would see that if you're in a base 2, you would have 2 units, 0, 1. The base itself is never represented. The base is always represented by 1, 0. Okay? Then we are also told, okay, as long as you have numbers, you have sequences, and you have a pattern and an order in which operations are produced. So we introduce you to the word BOMDAS, and then so we know, we'd be looking first to see, we'll be working out brackets of multiplication or its inverse, division, addition, and subtraction. Let me hasten to add here, not every sum will have all of them at any one time, all right? So because you know the sequence bracket of multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, when the other one is not there, you'll be looking and say, so what's next? What's the first one I should be approaching? What's the first one I should be working? And that is how that operates. After that, we took you into place values, giving the numbers their place values so that we know we're using units, tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, million. And all of these are whole numbers. And because of how I'm standing here, I'm saying you'll be going from left to right. After we get at the unit, and we're going now from right to left, by units, we'd say, take a pause here. And for our stop post, we put a decimal point, and then we're going down and everything in the left, going as far as we can. Those will be fractions, okay? And one thing we're noticing, because we're dealing with the base 10, the denominator is always a power of 10. So that is what we're doing in terms of our place value. We can take a break now so that you can absorb all this, get it as a part of your system, and then I'll be right back.
Be sure that you're working in the same units of measure when performing calculations. If a problem involves inches, feet, and yards, be sure to make the appropriate conversions so that all your values are in the same unit of measure. For example, change all values to feet. When asked to show work or justify your answer, don't be lazy. Write down everything about the problem, including the work you did on your calculator. Include diagrams, calculations, equations, and explanations written in complete sentences. Now is the time to show off what you really can do with this problem.
Welcome back. I hope you got your drink and you're refreshed, you're stretching out your legs, because I have to tell you something, because I've been sitting for so long around a table, doubling up my poor little legs. I don't know if it's the arthritis, but my knee hurts. I can't wait for the seawater to get a bit warmer. Right, now we are on our last session, because I have given you a mouthful. I have given you enough to look at, and so you can check, and you will be getting yourself organized. You're ready. If you didn't have the right book, you will be getting that, so that you can keep a whole sequence and a historical account and tell your grandchildren that mommy can do mathematics, you know, right? Because that is the idea. Mathematics is now going to become your bedroom, your doorstep experience. Just for today, we will end by way of telling you the name of some of the numbers. And we can start talking about names. And we talk about whole numbers, okay? We talk about prime numbers. We talk about composite numbers. And we can hear them talking about even numbers. And you start talking about things, you get a little bit more complicated. You start saying cardinal, and ordinal. I am just going to throw out these for you right now. And next week, we will be continuing in this vein, because what I want to do is to introduce you to factors, the definition for these things, even numbers, we talk about our odd numbers. How did I leave out my odd number? Odd numbers. And I probably left out quite a lot too, all right? But just to tell you some of the names that we are using, and expect our students to know: whole numbers, prime numbers, composite numbers, even numbers, cardinal numbers, ordinal numbers, odd numbers. I also want to just put at this point, although it's not a part of the base 10 number system, because our students in the primary school, especially the grade 6 students, are asked to know something about Roman numerals. So I'm going to just put you on hold to let you know Roman numerals. So I'm saying I know. Okay, somebody is saying, why isn't she talking about that? And the students are asked for that. I will tell you a little about that next week, okay? So please make certain, if your friends are watching this week, tell them Miss Weston has fulfilled her promise. She will be back with you next week. We will be here making certain that mathematics becomes the #1 subject in this country, and that everybody knows that no subject can be done without it being principled about mathematics. The rules, the waves, everything we see in nature depends on mathematics. How can we then say it's difficult? Our lives cannot exist without it. And I'm going to show you it's not you, but it's who you had teaching you your mathematics, why you're saying it's difficult. And I would like to thank you, because the Antigua education system is hot, hot, hot.
Join us next time for another in the series, Mastering Mathematics, a production of the Education Broadcasting Unit in the Ministry of Education and ABS TV.